How has this country come to this? Where did the destructive Tory Labour Uni-party come from? For decades now, we have been ruled by a flip-flopping uni-party of self-interested Tory and Labour tossers who together have picked over the carcass of this once great nation until there is little left. The demise of this country grew out of listening to piss-weak liberals in the years following the Second World War. Piss-weak liberals who thought it a good idea for us to give up being a power in the world and instead becoming a rudderless hulk, drifting aimlessly in a sea of disparate and often dangerous nations, none of whom had our national interests at heart. We were conned by this useless liberal detritus into believing that what we had to offer the world was unworthy and even bad. We have totally lost confidence in our nation and ourselves. Yes, we made mistakes. Sometimes bad things happened. Bad mistakes were made around the world and even closer to home. But always, if a nation or an individual tries to do anything, mistakes will be made. Even so, it was still better for all concerned than it is now. The British even get blamed for slavery by greedy and lazy people looking for a handout in the name of reparations. Slavery began when humanity began, long before there was a British Empire or even a Britain. The British can't be blamed for what happened under Tutankhamun's reign, and although the age of empires is over, the world of today is certainly no better without the British Empire. For instance, Africa as a whole could not possibly be run worse than it is being run now. Before the latest tragicomedy of an election, we were ruled by a Tory jellyfish of a man who found it so difficult to make the simplest of decisions, it's a wonder he wasn't forever shitting himself. And since that election, we have been ruled by a card-carrying headcase, a creature who runs a government which is openly hostile to the people it is supposed to be serving. It's time to kill off the Tory Labour Uni-party. On the Labour side of it, we are now saddled with a bunch of morons who want to destroy our indigenous farming industry in favour of paying foreigners to produce food for us, laying waste to even more of our heritage, industry and culture. Look at what's happened to our mining, steel making, chemical, engineering, shipbuilding, motorcycle and car making, and ancillary industries, etc., etc. Take a trip around the UK to where vast communities now live in poverty because the Uni-party decided to export their jobs to the rest of the world just to comply with the totalitarian madness of globalism. Our schools are being run by a gibbering cabal of hollow skulls that are penalising people who want choice in how they educate and raise their children. Not only that, a curriculum for nutters is winging its way from the padded cell of number 10. This will ensure our children are prepared not for the real world, but for some ultra-liberal fantasy planet of shape-changing, instant sex-changing space cadets. The ongoing invasion of our country by the Calais super scroungers from hell is being buried under an avalanche of bullshit by this administration and its predecessor. We cannot continue to indulge these lazy bastards, hell-bent on having a lifelong paid holiday at our expense. And there is the safety of young girls to consider. Young men will at some stage want and will take what all young men want. And they haven't brought any girls with them, that's for sure. The sheer evil of deliberately freezing our pensioners to death, down solely to the Labour side of the Uni-party this time, one of the most disgusting and disturbing political decisions since the Second World War. This policy alone has ensured that the Labour Party will not win the next election, especially if the presently incumbent meatheads are still in place. And even worse than all this, is the gutless, yellow-bellied response by the whole of the Uni-party and beyond to the surrendering of young white girls to the disgusting creatures from the pit who have raped and abused them for decades with impunity. Our stinking politicians, including councillors, our so-called police, all betrayed them because of total, indisputable cowardice. They believed that being seen as racists was worse than ignoring the safety of our own children. Who gives a damn if people cry racist? Who gives a flying fuck? Getting rid of this foul Uni-party is the only way these children can get the justice that humanity demands. Too many of the Uni-party are culpable, so they cannot be allowed to remain in a position to fend off inevitable retribution. How can people vote for Labour or Tories and still sleep at night beggars belief? If we continue with the duopoly of the Uni-party, this country is doomed. When people supposedly leading a nation have become so damned cowardly, so terrified of what anybody might say about them, that they gladly submit their own children to the most disgusting rapists for their perverted pleasures, they are truly lost. The reign of this filthy, stinking Uni-party must end, or the inexorable progression of this country into a third world shithole is guaranteed.